Hello, everyone. This is Suzanne, and this is the Gospel Truth. Today is October 20th, 1923. Oh, 19. No, it's not 1923. It's 2023. Wow, I went in a Wayback Machine for a minute there. Anyway, today is Ron and I's anniversary. We've been married 11 years today. And my hubby's going to take me out to dinner later. We're going to go to one of our favorite places, a place called Ram's Horn. It is actually owned by a church member. It's been very successful for many years, and it's just a nice atmosphere, cozy, comfy, and it's one of our favorite places to go. And we might drop by our favorite yogurt place to bring home some yogurt for later tonight. Yogurt ice cream, that is. Yum, yum. All right. Today is Friday Makes. What does that mean? That means that I will show you things that I have been working on or attempting to work on during the week. I got quite a bit done. I'm kind of surprised at myself, and it feels great. Well, I'm going to just tell you a little story today of how Ron and I met. And probably tie that in with a little personal devotional. All right, let's get started. Lots of great things today. Well, about 11 years ago, it was in September, I believe, and Ron and I met. Actually, it may have been the last part of August. And I, in fact, had been dating another guy, or seeing another guy. We went on Christian Mingle. Ron was also a member there. And wow, let's just say everyone on Christian Mingle doesn't have the Christian values that they should have sometimes. And I dated a few of those and went, wow. And this one guy I was dating, nice guy, but he had a lot of baggage. And we went out. He wasn't sure if he was over an old girlfriend or not and all that kind of stuff. Never bought me flowers, candy, barely took me out to dinner. I think the only time we went out to eat was on our first date. And I was very nervous about that. And so he called me at some point and said, I'm going out Friday night. I said, oh, you are? I said, where are you going? He said, there's an event in downtown Detroit, a country dance thing. He said, I'm going to go alone. Okay, well, have a good time. So I was kind of miffed. I thought, wow, really? And I had met Ron previously, talked to him on Christian Mingle back and forth, wasn't too sure. But I kept being drawn back to his picture for some reason. And I kept thinking in my heart, he looks like he'd be a nice guy. And so I was frustrated because this other guy, just cast me off to the side. And I thought, okay, this doesn't feel right to me. So I gave Ron a call and I said, would you like to go out to the movies tonight? He said, oh, yeah. He was all kind of excited. So we went to this, we went to see a movie. I forgot, the name of it slips my mind right now, but I know Stallone was in it. Expendables, that's what it was. Well, Ron had already seen the movie, but he did not tell me. And he just kept looking at me during the whole movie. I'd look over and he'd be like, yeah, and I'll smile. It was really cute. And I thought, okay, I think he kind of likes me. And afterwards, we went to Subway and we talked. And then he took me home. And at the end of the date, I said, you know, the Renaissance Festival's in town. I said, would you like to go to the Renaissance Festival tomorrow night? And he said, yeah, that would be great. He was expecting maybe a week or 2 weeks later we would meet. And unbeknownst to me at the time, that particular weekend was a weekend that Ron had asked specifically off for. He had no plans. He was going to stay at home and just maybe do a couple things around town, but not much. No idea why he wanted it off. He'd never asked for it off before, but he just wanted it off. And so prior to our first date, he was talking to one of his coworkers about, yeah, you know, she's really nice, but she's like a half hour away, and I don't know. And it might have even been almost an hour away. I think it was almost an hour. And his buddy wisely said, so you're telling me you'd rather stay home all day and do nothing and be by yourself, or you could take 1 hour, drive down there, have a beautiful day, 1 hour back. And that made sense to him. He says, no, that makes perfect sense. So that's how our first date got going. So meantime, I get a call from the other guy on Saturday morning, and I told him that I had a date and went out with a movie with another guy, and I said, you know, I said, he was really nice. I said, I think we're going to go out again tomorrow night. We're going to go to the Renaissance Festival. Really? He says, but I wanted to take you back to that country thing. And I thought to myself, well, you should have asked me that the first night you went, you know? And so on my way home that evening from the Renaissance Festival, which Ron and I had a fantastic time. It was wonderful. And in fact, it was at that Renaissance Festival that he said, we got to sit down and talk for a minute. I said, okay. And he says, you know you're special. And he says, I believe that we are, I think he says something like, I think God told me that we needed to be together. Now, when somebody tells you that, you know, you kind of go, are you kind of crazy here? You know, this is like our second date. And I said, oh, okay. And we went on with the festival. I had a great time. Came home that evening. We went back to my apartment for a little bit before he went home. And we're sitting there talking. And all of a sudden, I literally feel him like shaking a little bit. And I took his hand. I said, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. The next thing I know, this guy is on his knees proposing to me in my apartment. Our third date. And I says, wow. He said, we're supposed to be together. I know it, and I love you. And I didn't give him an answer that night, but when he left, I said, I do love you, Ron. You're a great guy. And so the next day, which was a Sunday, he came back down. And we went through to a favorite park of mine around here. And he, of course, was waiting for an answer. And I says, so I don't know. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, next Friday, let's just go look at rings, okay? We don't have to buy any. Let's go look. And I thought in my spirit, if we just go look for rings, we're going to end up buying them. I just knew it. And I said, I don't know. And he talked me into it. So come the next Friday, sure enough, we went to the jeweler store and he bought me this beautiful ring, or engagement ring. And he proposed to me again right in the jewelry shop. Some of the women got weepy-eyed behind the counter, of course. Then we went out to eat. And then he was insistent we got back. And he says, we got to set a date. We got to set a date. And so we decided on October 20th. We met like at the very end of October. So this is like almost 2 months. And I said, wow, that's really soon. He said, well, why wait? We both love each other. We know what we want. And what I have going in the back of my mind is, this is not going to settle well with my kids. They're going to think I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind. So we agreed to go look at rings, and sure enough, we bought them. And he again proposed to me, and we set the date. So, on the way home from that purchasing of the rings, I'm thinking, well, I better stop by my daughter's because I got to tell them sometime. They hadn't even met the man. They knew I was dating because on our first date, I had told my daughter, I think he may be the one. She goes, oh, okay, Mom, well, go slow. But to her, going slow wasn't like almost 2 months later getting married. And she came out to the car and she says, well, come on, you might as well tell the rest of the family. So she drug me in the house and I announced to the family, and the rest of them were pretty happy. My daughter, she was very hesitant. She loves me so much. She wanted to protect me so much. In fact, even on our wedding day, I was in back getting dressed, and she said, Mom, it's not too late. My van's out there ready to go. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm getting married. And so we got married, had a beautiful reception, and we didn't really go on a honeymoon because I told Ron, I said, pay all that money for a room, have to be out by noon. I said, why don't we just stay home, save that expense, go out to eat the next day, and just go around places. He said, wow, really? And I said, yeah. So that's what we did. And so my daughter's still not sure of him. She's doing background checks on him. She's doing everything. But it didn't take long for her to come to know him and love him. And the grandkids accepted him right away as grandpa. I have great grandkids. And people were very, very happy for me. And here it is 11 years later, and we're still very happily married, very happily blessed. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. So the other guy that I was dating, after Sunday evening, my phone was burning up with him calling me on the way home. I thought, uh-oh. So I finally get home, and I call him back, and he says, where have you been? Were you out with that guy again? I said, yeah, we had a great time. In fact, he proposed to me. What? And he was really shaken by it. And it was like he almost knew what he had lost. But he never showed any emotional attachment, yeah, you're nice to date, but that's as far as it goes. I'm still hung up on this other girl. He had a woman living at home. Well, his ex-wife lived with him. She was a drunkard, and the kids didn't want her out in the street, I guess, so she was still living there, and I thought, that would have never worked for me. And so, thankfully, God nudged me in the right direction. Kind of let God do the picking this time, and it's been the best thing ever. And I would do it day after day, marry this man. He is a gentle soul. He's a strong man. He's a masculine man. He knows what he likes, what he doesn't like. We match up perfectly in our Christianity together. Yeah, we have a few biblical controversies about a few scriptures here and there, but it's nothing that would separate us. And I can't say enough. He's been through me. I've had several operations since we've gotten married. I've had 2 neck surgeries, a shoulder surgery. I've had bladder suspension. I've had several bouts with my diverticulitis. I've had recent knee surgery. My other knee is getting bad. And I got the makings of glaucoma. And it's been rough sometimes. But we hung in there together. And Ron's had his particular health issues too. Not to the extent of mine, but we've hung in there together and supported each other. That man will get up and do dishes. He'll, every morning he gets up and he opens the blinds and the curtains and makes the bed. And it's like, you have to keep it home. So it works out pretty nice evenly across the board for us. And I just wanted to share that with you and why I'm so delightful being married to this man. I can't wait to go out to dinner later, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get liver and onions. I know there was probably a lot of, ew, ooh, you like that? And every time we go around, I said, I'm probably going to get liver and onions again. I said, well, yeah, I don't cook it at home for me. But I'm not sure what I'm going to have today. Maybe I will surprise them and get something different. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And there's a little devotion that says, God is more than enough. The woman living there said, Naomi has a son, and they named him Obed. God is more than enough. Ellen was on a tight budget, so she was glad to receive a Christmas bonus. That would have been enough, but when she deposited the money, she received another surprise. The teller said that as a Christmas present, the bank had deposited her January mortgage payment into her checking account. Now she and Trey could pay other bills and bless someone else with a Christmas surprise. God has a way of blessing us beyond what we expect. Naomi was bitter and broken by the death of her husband and sons. Her desperate situation was rescued by Boaz, a relative who married her daughter-in-law Ruth and provided a home for her and Naomi. That might have been all Naomi could have hoped for, but then God blessed Ruth and Boaz with a son. Now Naomi had a grandson to renew her life and sustain her in her old age. That would have been enough. As the woman of Bethlehem put it, Naomi has a son. Then little Obed grew and became the father of Jesse, the father of David. Naomi's family belonged to Israel's royal line, the most important dynasty in history. That would have been enough. David, however, became the ancestor of Jesus. If we believe in Christ, we are in a similar position to Naomi. We have nothing until he has redeemed us. Now we are fully accepted by our Father who blesses us to bless others. That's so much more than enough. When God has blessed you beyond what you imagined, how has he shown you that he is more than enough? When God has blessed you beyond measure what you imagined, how has he shown you that he is more than enough? Well, God has shown me several times, blessed me beyond what I've imagined. And one of those blessings is, of course, meeting Ron, marrying this man, and having an extremely satisfying marriage. A marriage devoted to God first, and then each other. And he has shown me he is more than enough to take care of all my needs, all my wants, and I'm so thankful for that. All right, everyone, that is it for today. And I hope you've enjoyed my little story here. You know, I think when you get older, I was, 62, 63 when I got married. When you've been around that block several times in your life, you mature and you grow and you know a little bit. And you can sense things in people better. You can be a better discerner of truth and of wrong. And that's the way I felt with Ron. That the Holy Spirit was guiding me and God was directing me. And it was like, I believe what this man says, what he has told me. I believe he believes that he loves me so much. He wants to marry me quickly, take me off the market. I love him. And we were both in it to stay through thick and thin. And it's been, like I said, a wonderful, wonderful journey with him. And I hope we have several more years together. All right, today is Friday Makes. What have I been making on all week? Well, I think the previous one I come on, and then I got the idea, excuse me. My sinuses are acting up a little bit today, sorry. You saw these scrubbies I had made. The two orange and yellow. Of course, they hang on your faucet. These are so good. The orange and green. A blue and yellow. And of course, my favorites are these Christmas ones. And then a variegated one with green. So that was, actually, I made most of those in one day. And then I decided I'm going to do a Friday makes. So what did I make? Of course, I made some more scrubbies. Trying to get a big batch of these made before Christmas because I love to give these out as little happy gifts and Christmas gifts for my family. I made another Christmas one. I love the Christmas ones. I hang a Christmas one out all year. Here's another Christmas one. And then I made two of these. This is yellow or yellow golden, almost a mustard color, and with a very light and then a little darker brown in the yarn. There's the yarn there. So I made two of these. So right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I gave one to my neighbor's mother when she visited me the other day. I said, here, these are great, you'll love them. All right, and I made a couple hats on my knitting machine. This is called Teal. This is Caron Sparkle yarn. And I made a 2-color pom-pom. I'm learning how to make these pom-poms and how to do 2 colors. You can do 4 colors. You can mix the yarn. But I thought it turned out pretty cute. So there's the hat. And I'm making a hat and scarf set for my granddaughter. And this is the hat. I've got done the hat. I've got to finish up the scarf this week. But look at that. Yes, it is as soft as it looks. It is so incredible. This is my new yarn. This is going to be my new yarn. I'm going to watch for those 50 or 60% off coupons and grab it up when I can at that price. I think it's usually like $12 a skein. This is what it is. Caron Latte Cakes. And on the knitting machine, I did 140 rows first for the hat, and then I'm just going to work up the rest into the scarf, which will probably be about 250 rows. So you can get a complete hat and scarf set out of that. When you buy it on sale, it's maybe $6.50, $7. So for a nice hat and scarf, yeah. That's so gorgeous. I wish you could feel it. I wish you could feel it. All right, and let's see. I got one more thing to show you. Told you I've been busy. This is Paws Patrol. And this little guy was on a clearance out for like $5, maybe $6 at Walgreens. They were clearancing out. This is the only one they had. My grandson likes the Paws Patrol. It's a cute little show. There's the rest of his little body. But this skirt, of course, comes off. You can make different little blanket things for it, and just they can switch on and off, whichever one they want on. And I decided to put a little bit of fall colors in it too with the browns. But I'm liking the way it turned out. It's really cute. Of course, you can go as long as you want on the skirt. This is for a 3-year-old, so I think this is plenty long. But yeah, he's, let me straighten up his head. There we go. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. All right, I think that's it in my makes. Looking around here if I didn't talk so much. I did make, I made a slipper. I showed you my slipper socks before. If you recognize this, this is Grandma's slipper pattern. Years ago, grandmas used to make these slippers and put a big pom-pom on it, and they were very popular. Well, I made it. It fits. I like it, but to me, it's too short on my heel here. I'm afraid it's going to slip off. So I think what I'm going to do, they've got another one where you actually make it into a slipper boot. You go around here and it goes up, about to here, so it stays on your foot. So I'm still tinkering with this pattern and getting sizes down right. I have a 7 to 7.5 inch foot, and this fits me pretty good. And just kind of figuring out, I'd like to figure out how to make it for a size 11. My daughter wears a size, no, she wears a size 10 shoe. And all my kids have big feet. All my grandkids, like 14. It's crazy. They take after their daddy, that's for sure. But yeah, they didn't turn out too big. I didn't put a pom-pom on it. So I experimented with that. Anyway, I think that wraps up today. I'm going to finish getting ready now. It's already after 4. We'll be heading out soon to go out for dinner and been stopped by TCBY. It's our favorite frozen yogurt place. And it's a little bit less calories than regular ice cream is, but it sure tastes good. So I think we're going to stop by there and maybe get a couple pints to bring home for this evening to finish off our anniversary dinner. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, and another thing. My daughter dropped by yesterday. Her and her husband stayed like 2 hours. They went up north recently, but they brought us back for our anniversary a beautiful fruit cake, 2 chocolate-covered pretzels. I love chocolate-covered pretzels for me. Handmade taffy, big bag of that. She made apple crisp. She made a rice and broccoli, I think chicken casserole for us, and made some hamburger and potato soup for us. And we were overwhelmed by their generosity. Oh, and 2 handmade pasties from up north, the original, the yummy. We shared one last night, and it was out of this world. So we were so happy and thrilled. They remembered our anniversary, and usually we don't exchange gifts on anniversaries, but this year she did, and I had given her a little anniversary gift the past month or so. I think it was in maybe September, and so it's nice to be remembered, isn't it? I have such a wonderful, great family. I am blessed beyond measure, and God has changed my life 10 times over. All right, you take care. I see I've been on here chit-chatting almost 30 minutes today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I enjoyed bringing it to you. Lord willing, I'll be back on Monday with our next study in Ephesians chapter 1. You take care. You have a blessed day in the Lord. Bye for now.